Hey y'all, welcome back to Sincerely Shantae. Who's one?
I am.
Okay.
I'm Paul. I'm from Florida. I'm 32 years old.
Hello, I'm Rachel. I am 26 years old and I'm from a suburb outside of Chicago, Naperville, Illinois.
Hey, I'm Raven. I'm 27 and I currently live in North Carolina.
Mhm. Four.
Hello, I am Nakasha and I am 29 and I live in North Carolina too.
Hi, I'm Kraft. I'm 35 and I live in Virginia.
I'm Talaya. I am 23 and I live in Virginia.
Nice. Okay. So when it comes to, of course, being single, especially during quarantine, things can get a little rocky. I always joke and say if you're married, it is going to either make or break you. Hopefully you come out alive. But then if you're single, it can also make and break you. And a lot of people aren't familiar or like, what's up with that term? But in reality, a lot of people were like, hey, I want to get back out into the dating scene right now. Then all of a sudden, pandemic just boom, hit, drop, and it's hard to do. So we're gonna start with the question of why are you single? Let's do some self-reflection. Why are you single?
That's a good question. Um, I would say it's just a combination of things. Kind of a late bloomer. Spent the last couple years being heavily involved with school and work. So I always use that excuse not to look for anybody. And quite frankly, I just kind of been comfortable being by myself for all this time. So that's why.
I have a follow, not even a follow up. Well, yeah, a follow up question. When it comes to like school and work, I have had guys tell me, and I've actually had a guy tell me, no man wants a busy woman.
Well,
How would you respond to that if a woman was like, you're always working, you're always doing X, Y? How would you respond to that?
for me personally, if someone said that to me, I would say that, hey, my work is very important to me. However, you are important to me as well. So if it means that much to you that you want to spend more time, I'll find more time for you to hang out with you. But just note that I'm also a busy person. So it's kind of that I'll try to make more time, but understand that this is my life. This is how I do business type thing.
Anybody else with a follow up? All right, number two.
I am single because I spent the last 2 years healing from a previous relationship that was, I would say, traumatic. Not really want to go into many detail, just want to say I was engaged. I was super, I think we both were young, trying to do different things, and it just didn't work out. I'm also now like super picky because of that situation. And those are like the two biggest things that I would say why I'm single now. I know you have a follow up, Shantae.
No, well, yes and no. One, because you and I will talk probably after this, because girl,
Yes.
we got some catching up to do. But I will say that how important do you think is the healing process? I like, do you think it has to happen? Because some people just jump right on back in and
Right.
do what it do. Like, what do you think?
I think it's super important because you have to kind of reevaluate what you want. Instead of rushing back into a situation, you might be stuck in the same situation. Um, I know that this is might be so far off, but my ex has actually had two relationships after already. And I think that's, yeah. So it's just, I think it's super important that you just have to take that time to heal, self reflect, make sure that you're not taking your baggage into a new relationship.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Who next? Who's next? Go, 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 go.
So I am newly single. I have been single for about a month now, a little over a month. And so I'm kind of just navigating that. I really haven't had time to focus on it because I've been so focused with my move. I've been in North Carolina for all of 5 days now. So it hasn't really, I can't say really has set in yet, but you know, just taking some time for myself right now.
And it is nothing wrong with that. Who's next?
It's me. And I am single because I'll go ahead and echo off of, I think her name is Rachel. I'm picky, but it's also because I am dating with full intentions of getting married and having children. Therefore, if you're not aligning with all the things that I'm wanting to see in my future, you're easily cut off. So here I am by myself.
Now I have to ask, do you ghost? Or is it just like
I do.
do you legit just like block, or is it like one of those things where
it depends? It depends on the situation. But 9 times out of 10, yes, I do ghost, especially guys off of dating apps, things like that I don't really feel that involved with. I just disappear, and it's sad because I wouldn't want anybody to do it to me. So I'm a work in progress. I'm trying to work on that.
I asked because I just said I'm trying to ease back out there. I'm like, should I just be like,
don't do it. Don't take after me.
Mm-hmm.
I am too late. I'm gonna be like, next. You remember that TV show Next where they would get off the bus?
Oh yeah. That was a terrible premise.
I love that show.
Me too. Me too. I remember a girl would get on the bus. As soon as she'd get on the bus, next. I'm like, wow.
That's my dating life right now.
Okay, now this is getting interesting. I love it. Okay, who is next? Or do y'all have a follow-up? Because I'm just saying. I am going to follow after you, though. I'm going to be like, ooh, do. Who's next?
Oh wait, I think that's me. My bad. So I would say my answer is mirrored to Paul's. I've had 2 serious relationships. One similar to Rachel, I was almost engaged. I had a relationship sometime after that, and then got into a groove of doing well professionally and personally. So focused in on that, and then just got comfortable being single. And it has its perks. It definitely has its perks, but it does have its cons. So it's just kind of a, that choice and growth.
Next.
Okay. I'm single. I've been single my whole entire life. I'm 23 years old, and it's by choice. Just because I know what I want in a relationship and in a partner. I've had people in the past, like relationships and stuff, and around me that I've seen what I don't want. So it kind of helped me to see what I do want. And I just, even though I'm young, I don't have time to play games. So I don't entertain anybody who's like coming to me playing games. And then also, I'm single because I haven't unlocked my full potential yet, but it's coming. And I don't want to jeopardize anything as far as like for my future. So that's why I'm single.
Y'all, let me tell you about this young lady right here. Okay, so her dad, my dad have known each other, I know my whole life. So I know it's her whole life because I'm 30. But how do you follow up after her? That was the most amazing answer, and I am so proud of proud
You
of
know,
you because at 23, I was engaged. So
It's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, and you are beat tonight, honey. I'm just saying.
Thank you. I try.
Um, well, for me, um, Raven knows I'm about to have a panic attack because just being transparent and open and honest is what I'm learning how to do again. So I've been separated for 2 years, over 2 years, going through the paperwork now. Very toxic, very, very draining. It would be a point in time where I couldn't even smile. I couldn't even get out of bed. I didn't want to go home. I remember one day after work, I went to Applebee's, got me curbside to go, sat in my car and ate, and then still went on my 2 mile walk just because I did not want to go home. So I think for me, I'm single because again, I was that girl who was that woman who was 23 years old, engaged, married by 24. I got married 3 weeks before my 25th birthday. And so I'm rediscovering who is this girl? Like, what is your girl? What's your favorite food? What's your favorite color? You know, like I'm taking myself out on dates, trying to rediscover who I am as an individual. I am extremely focused on my career, but also I am. It's so crazy. I'm ready to get back out there and start dating. And just like Lele said, I am so looking for something in particular. My standards are so high now to the point where only Jesus himself can see over that fence.
Amen.
And I am just rediscovering, but also I know exactly what I want. I know exactly what I don't want. And I'm not going to say I'm going to ghost, but that may be me for a minute. But that's why I'm single. So, leading up to the next question of are you single and ready to mingle? What's up? Or are you just single and chilling?
I would say a combination of both. Like in the fact that like since I'm back home and ready, like looking for my next opportunity career wise, I'm not ready to get into a full like serious relationship. But at the same time, I am kind of looking around to see what's out there because like I have that time to like okay, let me just take a look and like meet new people virtually, see what's out there. Maybe I find someone. Maybe I can find a new friend. Um, just going along those lines. So it's a combination of both to answer your question.
Next.
I say it's a combination of both as well. Like I'm not seeking, but if somebody was like, all right, let me take you out on a date, I would be open to it. But I have like, I feel like I have weird parameters. Well, not weird parameters, but I'm 6'2", so that already puts me in a different category than most people because if you're not a certain height, it's just gonna be a no for me. Um, and so, yeah, I would say I'm a combination of both. I'm not seeking, but if somebody comes along and says I want to get to know you, then I'm not gonna say no. But I am guilty of ghosting as well, so that's something I'm working on. I'm sorry. It's bad, but I'm working on it. God is working on me, and I'm gonna get together some way or
He is not done with you yet. And sis be slaying in her
it's
heels,
not.
by the way. You do. I'm just saying. It is what it is.
Thank you. Thank you.
My number 3.
So as stated before, I've only been single for about a little over a month now, so I'm just chilling right now. Not looking to get into anything. Thought I was just to try to maybe distract myself. But then I was kind of just like, who am I kidding? I actually deleted this dating app last night, and I'm just like, nope, I'm not ready. And I know that now. So.
I think that I'm definitely a combination of both. It just depends on the day because I'm definitely actively seeking, not just because I am definitely ready to be in a relationship, but also for other like fertility reasons, things like that, kind of on a timetable, which makes things harder. But then like choice wise within the dating pool right now, that is what puts me back to I'm chilling because it is just a pond full of fish that nobody wants at this point. So I go back and forth, just back and forth. That's where I'm at.
You are keeping this interesting, and I love it. Okay, I don't even know what number we on after that because I feel 5. Okay.
I mean, I guess I'm like everybody else. It's a combination of I'll look around, and then some days I'm like, I'm fine. If I come home and it's quiet, that's fine. Um, but I think now being where I am, um, there are times where I'm more open to the idea of being with somebody, more completely.
Next.
For me, I would say a combination of both as well. I have my friends, friends, and if that takes off, I mean, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But like I said, I know what I want, so I'm not just gonna like settle for the first thing that comes telling me I'm cute. So yeah, that's it.
We don't want any entanglements. We don't want any entanglements. For me, okay, so I would say it's a combination of both as well. I'm not seeking. It is said a man who finds a wife finds this a good thing. So I'm not out here looking, but I'm out here again just rediscovering. Now, if someone is placed into my life, not necessarily perfect, but if they're placed into my life and they're supposed to be in my life for a reason, then obviously, of course, it's like now I will say for those who know me, I overthink. And the Lord literally has to hit me over the head in order to be like, Lord, give me a sign. And it'll be the 5th, Lord, give me a sign before I really like listen. But
Yeah.
if it's someone who's meant to be in my life, then I will take it. So with that being said, how has it been dating just within the climate that we're in right now with this tricky situation? Because I'm not gonna, the panorama. Let's call it the panorama. Yeah. How how has dating been through that?
Well, it's been tough. You really responsible. You can't really go out. You can't really go out and naturally meet people like you would. Like, if you go to a party, you naturally like meet someone or someone introduce you. If you go out to like dinner, you can randomly bump into somebody. So those natural like meeting occurrences doesn't happen anymore. Even like meeting someone at work, that's tough because like everyone is on Zoom all day or everyone's socially distant. Um, that being said, you just do what you can. Um, Virtual dates do help. Um, and just doing other things virtually can help with that. But for the most part, it's just been difficult.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely been difficult, strange, not the greatest, to be honest. Um, I have friends that are in relationships and they're like, just download some dating apps. And I've gone through a cycle where I've downloaded maybe 1 or 2, had it for maybe a day or so, and deleted the app because it's been that bad. So I don't, yeah, this has just been an interesting, weird time in dating during the panorama is just not good, not great.
I agree. It's definitely been difficult. I had the dating app Hinge for like a few days. Um, and it was cool for a minute. I met a crazy, so that was funny. That was great. Ended up getting blocked. So, but it really has been a challenge because kind of like Paul said, you can't go out, you can't really do too much. As far as like actually visiting someone, movies, whatever. So it's posing a challenge. So I'm hoping things get better in the future.
I'll definitely go off what everybody else said. It's definitely difficult. I have been on a few dates. They were nice dates. Free food is always a positive, and that might be the most that I got out of those dates. So, but also, I mean, I'm definitely taking more precautions since I'm meeting these people online versus being able to meet them somewhere like in a public setting, like coming to get to know them that way. So that's different, but I do have an advantage of being able to like look them up at work. I work with some detectives, so I get their information and I look them up before I do go on dates with them. So some people do get canceled.
I forgot. I'm gonna send you everybody now, and you are my spirit animal because that free food. Well, I can't eat most of it, but that free food.
I'm down for it. I will always eat the free food. Free food and conversation at this point in time, sure.
I feel like that's illegal in so many ways. I do. It's just something in me is like, that is illegal.
How?
That is a terrible use of taxpayer money. Kudos, but I feel like that's a terrible use of taxpayer money.
But she's protecting herself. Like,
Yeah.
what if these people are weirdos?
Let me
Like,
tell you
no.
right now. All of this right here is an investment.
Okay, say it again.
Period.
Especially because I work with clientele that so many things happen to them off a dating site. I refuse. Like,
sex trafficking, like that stuff is real.
Let me tell you something. I'm a whole lot of person sitting over here. So you ain't gonna be, I don't know if it's gonna be that easy for you to pick me up and snatch me, but I ain't getting snatched out here in these streets. And my mom and daddy gotta know what my body parts is just in case my body parts.
Right.
I ain't gonna be
Absolutely.
on nobody website. And yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't dismiss that at all. I don't. I think it's interesting, just kind of up and off tangent. It's interesting that that resource that she has is not more widely available. But again, it is a matter of kind of public trust, because in the opposite, if we weren't in the panorama, it's a question of whether or not people would still do the same.
I will say that there are some public sites that you can get onto. Anybody can get onto without any type of password or anything like that.
For me personally, like I understand where he's coming from, because it almost feels like you're being taken advantage of for like a free meal. But for me, what I do is that's why I keep first dates like typically like low key and like limited expenses. So if like something goes wrong, if someone ghosts me, it doesn't work out, like it's little expense to me on that end. That's how I protect myself. Cause like I understand like how it sucks to like feel like you basically paid for that one person's dinner and their lunch tomorrow and you got nothing from it, like not even a connection, nothing. So that's just my perspective of it.
And for me, like I'm such like an understanding person. Like if I don't even like see myself with you, or if I'm not interested, I'm just not gonna date you. Like I'm not gonna waste your money. Like go spend it on somebody else who's interested in you, because I'm not. So like that's just me.
I will say I have to be some kind of interested before I go on the date.
Yeah.
And I always go in with the notion that I might end up paying for it myself, because you never know. Therefore, I'm only going to eat and drink as much as I'm willing to pay for.
And as long lines of safety, for me, like if I know my friends are going out on a first date, I always make them send me their location, especially if they have iPhone. I make them send me that just so I know where they are. I know that they're okay, and that if I have to go find them, I will.
And then
Yeah.
we're gonna call Kasha because she can get the detectives on the line.
I was
You can be on the social media side. They're gonna be out on the looking side.
Exactly.
Wow.
I do send my location to a detective every time I do go on a date because it's crazy out here. And so maybe because I see it on the back ends as it's coming in, and I'm like, nope, I refuse for that to happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying, you know, while we were waiting on everybody to get back on, I always joking, you know, like my personality is extremely over the top, like at all times. But I will say that I always joke and say, "Ooh, all of this is an investment, this and the third." I think even though I'm joking when I say that too as a reminder to myself because my marriage taught me that I have to be willing to be the top shelf. I have to be willing to say, like, I am worth XYZ. So even though, yeah, I say that like haha as a joke, but I am saying like, no, I am worth blah blah blah. And it's not even about a meal. Like my first date can honestly be um something such as, hey, let's just go to Starbucks. Let's just go, you know, let's just go to Starbucks. Let's just hang out. Let's just do something like that. It doesn't even have to be money oriented. But just by me saying like I am an investment, just like a man should feel like he's an investment too. So that's where my whole standpoint comes from. All right. Number 5.
I kind of feel like I might have missed something, but I mean, from what I've caught in the last few answers, I agree. I feel like going all out for a first date, unless you've gotten to know that person very well prior, is kind of it can be problematic. It can be risky. Pulling out all the stops, you set a bar. And if you set that bar too high in the second date, you know, say first date you go to Ruth Chris, second date you're like, hey, let's go to Starbucks. That bar has already been set. Now you have to either always hit that or exceed it. And, you know, like Paul said, that can get expensive. And you know, it's unfortunate that we have to think like that, but it is kind of a thing that you have to consider. And I also wanted to know about something that Raven and Kasha said about having their friends send their location when they go on a first date. Do you do that for your male friends as well?
Ooh, I have not had a male friend to do that, so no. Well, that's an interesting point of view. It's mostly been just for either like my girlfriends, my sorority sisters, but no, I have never had a male friend to do that.
Nope, me either. I've only done it myself just for when I'm going out on dates. Nope.
Right.
I have a question. Since you asked that, do you do that with your friends who are single?
So for my friends that are single, they have not been necessarily dating. I have a few that go out from time to time, but a lot of my friends have made the decision to do virtual dates over in person, mostly because they live in larger cities than I do. But if my friends are going out, I'm definitely questioning, like, you good? You need me to, like, where you at? Do I need to come swing through? Do I need to make a phone call so you can exit? Like, there's always there's always something. It may not be send me your location, but it is a question of, are you good? You know, text me. There are things I might ask that sound strange in a text or in a call, but I know that that's you answering with, depending on what the answer is. So not necessarily location, but there are ways that I'll be like, we good? We straight? Do we need to come get you? Because I have a homeboy that, for whatever reason, attracts women with huge, large, massive red flags. And we have to like remind him every once in a while, these are things that are red flags. So let's not go back out with her.
I like it. Especially that question thing. I think I'm going to start doing that. Like, ask you something very specific so I'll know that that's you on the other end. I like that.
And what was the original question again? I kind of forgot.
Girl, I did too. Oh,
See, that's why I couldn't answer.
But no, I like that discussion though, because it makes us all, especially have new ideas of this is how we can not only keep ourselves, but our friends safe as well. Because I never would have thought about, unless it's a man, because I'm a Black woman, I'm gonna be like, where you been? What was your at last Tuesday at 5 o'clock? What was your no, I'm just kidding. But especially when it comes to asking that very specific question that only you two would know. Like Raven and I have an inside joke. I know right now if I say tour Italy, she will automatically know exactly what I'm talking about. So all of y'all are looking now like, huh? But I know only she would know.
It's a guy.
I do like that, even if you forgot the original question. How has dating been for you in the climate that we're in right now with the panorama?
Oh, it's been all right. I can't complain about it, but I can't be like, I think somebody mentioned it earlier, you cannot go out and just kind of organically meet people. So it's being careful of trying not to force a puzzle piece into a space that doesn't fit, because that'll lead you to a whole lot more issues.
I've been there, so yeah.
Who hasn't?
I've been there. All right. Next.
For me, dating during this panorama, it's kind of been non-existent. I mean, it tried to be, but God has some other plans. Thank the Lord. But it's hard. It's kind of hard because I was like, oh, I'm gonna be 23. I want to kind of go out because I'm a late bloomer. So I was just like, because I wanted to finish college first. Like I had to make sure I finished college first. I was like, hey, after college, I might want to go out there and start dating. And then it's just like, no, you can't. I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna take that as a sign to just continue to work on me. But like I said before, like I have friends or whatever, and I've been on a couple dates, but nothing more than friends. So.
Okay, so for me, due to the fact of going through the process of paperwork and different things like that, at the end of the day, we have been separated for over 2 years. I know you're probably like, girl, sign them papers. Be like Usher and sign them papers. But it has given me an opportunity to figure out, okay, like again, who am I again? Wow, it's hard being the moderator and being put like on the spot. So I I can honestly say for me, I have friends. Okay, not even I have sisters. I have sorors who are like, girl, just go on a date nap. But I'm not that chick. I'm not that, I'm really not that girl. So for me right now, it's been more of I have a list And of course my list it went from like this to like this now, but I'm focused on getting the key points on my list, like finding it, not every single thing, but all of those important things within a person. So I think for me, I'm just chilling. I'm not trying to date in no panorama, because I'm gonna tell you now, if you give me the cooties, it's gonna be me, you, toe to toe, and you better hope it don't take me out, because if that's the case, I'm gonna be sitting on the end of your bed every night looking at you. So, I'm just I'm just chilling. I'm just chilling. And also too, considering that we have already had really good discussions with three other questions, I'm just gonna pick out some questions instead of doing all of them, because it's a long list. I want to keep you all Sunday. But let's get down to the nitty gritty. Does love language really matter to you?
Yes, it does. Like, it's important, but it's also important that you have that self-discovery in yourself to know how do you want to feel loved, and how do you project love, and make sure that your partner knows this is how you project love and this is how you feel love. Like, for example, like, I'm a person who loves to spend quality my love language, both receiving and giving, is quality time. um so I make it a thing where, like, if I'm taking time out of a day saying, like, I want to hang out with you, that's my way of saying, like, I really care about you. And that's how I perceive that too.
Mhm.
I think love language is very important because it's another way of communication, and communication is super important in a relationship. So I think that's probably why one of the reasons why my last relationship didn't work out, because we weren't interested in investing in each other's love language and knowing what each other's love language was. Um, because I think mine is quality time, in the way I love on people is usually through food too. I like to cook a lot. So so that's how I love, but I think it's another way of communication, and I think that's super important.
I agree. Love languages are super important. It's important to know yours, your partner's, and what love languages you like to give off. And so for me, mine are physical touch and quality time. But my giving love languages are acts of service and gifts. And so an example would be one time when I was staying at my past boyfriend's house while he was at work, I cleaned his room for him because that was just my way of showing that I appreciated him and my way of showing love. So it's important to know how your partner wants to receive love and keep that in mind.
I agree. It's definitely important to not only understand your own, oh my goodness, your own, but as well as your partner's, and like, especially if it's gonna contradict your partner's. For example, being with somebody that is really big on physical touch, when you yourself you don't like to receive that, that's very hard, very very hard. Me myself, I'm big on words of affirmation and quality time. It's hard for me to be with somebody that cannot reciprocate that to me. Very very hard, and it's hard to explain to them that you need that when they're not understanding themselves, like how to give it, because maybe they weren't given that themselves as they were growing up, so they don't feel the need to give that off to you.
I'm kind of I have a mixed review about or mixed feeling about love languages. I think they are important, and they're important until they're too much. Um, Similar to the like Myers-Briggs. Your your sense of how you show love will kind of mutate depending on, to me, in my opinion, will kind of mutate depending on who you're with. Um, you shift your love language. You always have your staple of love language, but you'll also keep theirs in mind. So instead of maybe being more of a gift giver, if that person is not keen on receiving gifts for whatever reason, you'll pull back. And instead of giving gifts, you may spend more time, or you'll be more touchy feely, or have more um, more verbal expression of appreciation and love. So I think it's important to know what yours is so that you can express that to somebody else. But I also feel like if you're, for people that get really hung up on that type of thing, you're dooming yourself, because you're going to expect something from either that person or yourself that can't necessarily be navigated well.
For me, love languages are like kind of like a new thing, because like I'm such like a loving type of person. So if I even care for you like an ounce, I'm going to show you like all the love languages in the world. But it's kind of hard for me to receive them, because I don't really know everybody's intentions. So like I can give you all the words of affirmation you need, all the prayer you need. I can give you all the physical touch you need. But once it comes to me, I'm just like, hold on, wait a minute. Don't do that. I don't like that. What's that? So yeah, it's still kind of new to me, more so on the receiving side. So
For me, love language is extremely important. Personal touch and quality time. I'm a very intimate person, very affectionate, very intimate. Um, and I still tell my students this, like, sex and intimacy are completely two different things, but I'm a very intimate type of person. So it's like, if I'm not getting that, I'm going to be honest, I feel like you don't even love me. Um, I feel like that sometimes I've even felt like in past relationships, like, wow, is there something wrong with me? Why you don't want to touch me? Why don't you want to hug me? Why don't you know? So I've had to learn how to navigate and realize that not everyone likes what I like or need what I need. So I'm learning how to be understanding of that. And I'm like, Rachel, if I cook for you, yeah, because I cook. Like, I whipped up something today for dinner, or um, you know, a few people on this call can say at work, I'll just bring in a cake just because I feel like bringing it. Just because it's Tuesday. Like, so if I cook for you, especially in an intimate setting, so it's like you're getting fed and I'm getting my intimate setting, then that really means something to me. That really means, not saying like you're the one, but that means something right there. So I'm in the process of just learning that just because not everyone fully understands my love language right off, I shouldn't necessarily resort to, is something wrong with me or is something wrong with them. It just may need to be that I think conversation is important too. Let's sit down and have a chat and say, hey, this is what I need in order for this to work out. Because I'm also a firm believer, not to get off subject, like cheating. Oh Lord, I'm really, yeah. Like cheating, for example, I'm not saying cheating is right. But for example, I'm a firm believer that who cares about the side chick? Who cares about the side dude? It's a disconnect between us. And it could be a disconnect, something as simple as a love language. So I think that conversation has to be had. So, with that being said, right now, social media is a huge influence on everything. Hashtags. Do you believe in hashtag relationship goals?
Hell no.
Yes. Okay, so
Hell no. I'm sorry, I
Okay,
didn't mean to jump the gun.
and why not?
All
So
right, I didn't mean to jump the gun. I'm sorry.
Relationship goals. I think you as a couple should have some type of like standards or goals, but to have hashtag relationship goals and the fact that you want to keep up with the Joneses or have your relationship plastered everywhere to show that you're the epitome of like the perfect couple, that's kind of not healthy. And it's almost could be damaging in a way because you're stressed about portraying that perfect image of what a couple should look like versus working on what works for you all. And I think that's where people get stuck with social media when you're in a relationship where you're so focused on projecting, hey, we're this perfect couple, it's date night, we go on these trips, he or she does this for us, versus like what may work for someone's like, hey, we go to each other's houses and we hang out in sweats all night. We just watch something random stupid movie on Netflix. So it depends. You should be focusing on what to circle it back around. You should be focusing on what works for you all versus hashtag relationship goals.
I'm just going to keep this short and simple. I'm going to say no. And this is solely because I know a couple friends that were supposedly hashtag relationship goals, and they're not. Their relationship is either no longer or it's just not good. And I know this because, those are some of my good friends. So no. Just like Paul said, do what you have to do in your relationship. Don't worry about anybody else's. Don't try to mirror anybody else's relationship. Be true to you and your partner.
Agreed. No, I don't believe in the concept of relationship goals. I used to a long time ago, but now it's like, I'm realizing social media is fabricated. It's not real, and you don't know what demons they're fighting behind closed doors. All you know is what you see on social media, and they're flexing for the gram, posting something just for X amount of likes. I mean, we all do. We post a picture in a new outfit, Y'all gonna see one in 2 weeks for my birthday.
And look, then you be sitting there waiting to see if he like it. You like, girl, I know he loves it.
I'll be doing that. So no, it's not real, and I don't believe in the concept of relationship goals.
I don't either. Just like Raven said, people are not what they post. A lot of times you can have a relationship that are posting pictures nonstop all the time. They're going to this place, every place in the world. Cute pictures on Facebook, but then at home they're constantly fighting, cheating. It's a whole lot of things going on at home. Therefore, I'm not going to have that relationship goal to be like them when all that's going on at home. How about me and my partner? We just have the goal to be the best relationship that we can be. That's the goal.
That part.
What they said. I mean, hell no. I don't believe
We
in
done
that.
heard enough from you. No, I'm just playing.
Well, let me go ahead and sip my drink then. I mean, honestly, like everybody else said, no, I don't think that's a thing. I would go as far as saying, and this might be to some degree controversial, when my ex and I were together some time ago, we were very healthy. And I think, and this is slightly off topic of the current answer, but one of the reasons that dating in a pandemic doesn't really bother me is we were long distance. So there was always a virtual date. There was always conversation via text, messenger, video chat. So there's a comfort, not a comfort, but a familiarity in this. But her and I both had active social media profiles, but we never posted one another. It was always her or it was always him. Unless you knew both of us, you didn't know who him or her were. You didn't know, you saw where we were, but you didn't fully understand it. And that was more so because I learned something long ago, is that you keep everybody else out of your business. Yes, I'm posting this. Yes, I'm letting everybody know that I'm with somebody. You just don't need to know necessarily who it is, because the people that matter most to me know who it is.
Okay, I have to say this. Do you think that it's necessary to eventually post one another? And I'm going to be honest with you. I have been in a situation where it was, you don't post me like such and such post her man, or you don't even want to hold my hand and put and do. I'm not the chick. Let me tell you something. I'll be in a whole marriage before people know that I'm even in a relationship. So literally, it's a couple. Look them up, y'all. Redefine TV. I'll actually send you a link to their YouTube channel. And they talked about not only dating with a purpose, but they also talked about how they really went from meeting to each other and engaged before anyone even knew that the other had someone in their life. And I was like, yo, that's so dope. So I 1,000,000% agree. I was like that in my relationship. Literally the only picture I had maybe of us on on social media was like college graduation when we were just babies, and I barely even want to post wedding pictures, to be honest. You know, but and it's not like that, but it's just because I'm extremely private. I feel like you can be transparent and private at the same time. But yeah, I don't need to know.
I agree. Good.
I love posting pictures. I love to take pictures. And it also exposed my last little fling. I posted a picture of me and him on my birthday, and girls started coming out of the woodworks about how they had been talking to him too. And initially I was like, no, they just want to hate on this. No, they came with the receipts, and I was looking foolish. So at this point, it's sadly like a matter of my first post of you might be a test of, are you actually mine?
Okay, I'm taking notes because I'm like, mate, okay, at least one post. And then I'm gonna send it to people like Raven who can blast it out everywhere else and be like, figure out who he messing with on the side, because I like that. I love it.
I mean, but to some degrees, isn't that a dangerous way of thinking, that I'm posting not because I want everybody, like I'm at a point where I want everybody to know, but I'm putting this out for feelers and to see, and I get it. I understand like the experience of something like that does trigger that idea, but can it be dangerous in thinking that now I'm putting this out not because I really like you, I'm putting this out to see who these other hoes is, or if you the hoe, like
Well, no, because my intentions are, I just love to post pictures. I love to take pictures. And so I usually am posting pictures every day. And so that is a thing. Like if you don't want to be posted, I need to know why. Because you already see that before we are at that level that I love to post. So you should already kind of be expecting to be on there.
Would you consider that if you looked at that person's social media and didn't see much of, like, you didn't see much of them, but you saw much of them, if that makes sense? Like you see their interests, you see their hobbies, but you don't necessarily see their face.
Take that into consideration, just knowing that they may be a very private person and just may not be much for social media, but also I want to dig deeper and know why that is. Some people have good intentions with that and some don't, because I do know some that don't. They want to be private so they can do all they can. So I'm going to find out one way or another.
She calling the detective. That's what I just heard.
Gosh, is my spirit animal.
Me too. I'm sitting here like, girl,
yes, taking notes. For sure, taking notes.
I don't even know who's next. I'm just like,
I'm next. I'm trying to remember the question.
relationship goals. Do you believe?
I'm gonna say yes and no, simply because, like everybody else was saying, your relationship should have its own goals, with the two people and working. But like if I see like some healthy goals out there, like my grandparents, they've been together for 50 years. That's a healthy goal that I would try to strive to achieve. If I see like somebody like a couple going to church together and praying together, reading the Bible, that's a healthy goal that I would want to have in my relationship. So there's healthy goals, and then there's some not healthy goals.
I honestly, okay, yes and no. Relationship can be with a man. A relationship could be, well, not a man, well, opposite sex. A relationship could be with a friend. A relationship could be with the Lord. A relationship could be all of those things. I'm a firm believer in Pastor Michael Todd's hashtag relationship goals. That series is phenomenal. That series actually got me through the beginning phases of my separation, because again, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, something wrong with me. So yes, but then two, I agree with Paul. Create your own goals. And I'm gonna tell you now, you see all of this right here. This never happens on a daily basis. I like to be in my sweatpants. We're going to order out from at least 3 different restaurants because I got to taste every little something. I'm a Gemini. I'm indecisive. So I might want pizza. I might want Chinese. But guess what? On the way home, we're going to stop by Jersey Mike's. And guess what? I'm going to take a bite of each one of them things. Not even eat it. I'm going to just put it in the refrigerator. And we're just going to chill and we're just going to watch a movie. So it's like you have to create your own goals. Like, I actually know someone who, every time we got on social media, my line sister and I was like, girl, you see them? They are like seriously like relationship goals. And I found out that she was actually in an abusive relationship. And she's gotten out of it. She's good. That's my girl. I love her to death. But it's like for at least 2 years, we were sitting here like, we want relation, we want that. Like but so I think that was my turning point with realizing that relationship goals, not saying they don't exist. It's just that it could mean something different per relationship. Now, with that being said, saying that you have to make a relationship into your own, could you date outside of your religion?
I would. Um, at the end of the day, like we love who we love. If it ends up becoming an issue, it is something you just got to address. And if it's something you can't overcome, just an unfortunate situation. But you should not let, just because someone's a different religion from you, stop you from like pursuing a relationship, because it may be something that you can overcome or you can reach a compromise on going forward as you get serious. So that's what I have to say about that.
I'm gonna pass.
I can say, well, first, I mean, I'm a Christian woman, born and raised in the church. So, if can I date someone with a different religion? Yes. I just don't know if I could date a non-believer. That's the only thing. So, someone who didn't believe in anything, because for me, my faith's very important to me. But dating someone who's just a non-believer who would try to take me out of that belief, if they would try to push that on me, I would see a huge conflict coming up. Not just with me, but with my family too. So, yes and no. I can date a different religion. I just can't date someone who doesn't believe anything.
It's a no for me. My religion, it gets me through some of the toughest times of my life, and therefore the religion piece, that's a deal breaker. I'm willing for somebody to come into my life and they not go to the church that I go to, but be willing to go to church. And we can compromise on the church, but we're not going to compromise on the religion, if that makes sense.
I don't think it would bother me. I have a firm belief in allowing people to live their own lives, even in relationships. I think this would just be something else that I would be willing to compromise on. I'm not.
A word.
Go ahead with your question before I answer.
If so, because he's not. So if he's not serving the God that you believe in, but he is serving a God that has that has values that fall in line with the same idealisms of your spirituality, is he not still following the path of God?
He may be following the path of his God, but not my God, because my God ain't gonna allow him and I to connect if he not following the same God, if that makes sense.
Yes.
But if the so but even if the texts are different, but the ideal is the same,
It gotta be all the same. Not the ideal, gotta be exact the same.
Yes, I believe in being equally yoked. I didn't answer this question, so I'm gonna say yes, like no, religion is a deal breaker. I just didn't want to seem very harsh, but everybody answered, so I'm just say religion is definitely a deal breaker. You can't be halfway Christian, you got to be all the way Christian, because there's some halfways out here. And I believe in being equally yoked. Like if we are not serving the same God, then we can't be equally yoked.
Amen.
And I do think a lot of times when I'm going into a relationship, I think about things like this mainly because when we have kids, I don't want this to be an issue.
Right.
About which religion will our children have.
Right. Absolutely.
So to go off of what Kasha said, okay, so I find I heal with laughter. So y'all remember that episode where Tony Childs and Todd Garrett couldn't decide on if their baby was going to be Jewish or serve the Lord, Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, hallelujah. I don't want to have to deal with the situation where Tony had to run in there and catch that baby from being baptized. I mean, it's funny, but it's so true. Seriously, who remembers that episode where Todd and Tony were going back and forth on what religion little Morgan should be raised under? I want to start dating with a purpose. Oh Lord, I can't believe I'm saying this. Something started happening to me around age 29-ish, where I was like, ooh, maybe I do want children. My entire life, I never wanted kids. Then 29 hit, I'll be 31 this year. Ooh, I'll be 31 this year, and 29 hit, and everything in me started going flutter, 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 flutter. But now that I'm 30, it's like, like I want children, but I know that I want my kids to be raised as those same principles that I was raised on. Now, I will say there are some things that would change. For example, my mom's first pair of jeans was when she was 15 years old. Because it was always, you have to, as a woman, wear this, wear that. Now that stuff, of course, I'm going to shift. Girl, just go to church. But I want those same principles instilled in my children that I had within me growing up. So that's it. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a deal breaker, but I know I probably wouldn't get past the first or second date if we weren't here. Like Kasha said, I don't like to use the term compromise, but I can compromise. You still gotta let me get my labels, okay? You still gotta let me still. I'm not even a shopper, but I love Coach and K Spec. You still gotta let me do all. We still have to compromise on the church, but yeah.
That's just the main part of a relationship. There's always gonna be a give and take.
Exactly.
Anything, like even when it comes down to like Where
What you
do
want?
we move because of whose job?
No. What one question? What do you want to eat?
No,
Oh my
that's
gosh.
not. No. I don't like it. We not.
And I'm gonna tell you something. Let's just
Pass.
say I'm not the one in their relationship. Even though I'm allergic to everything, I can find
Pass.
anything on the menu to eat.
Pass.
What would you look? You go tell even compromising down to you know, you may have to eat some things tonight that's a part of my only things I can eat list. You know, just to that's why I say that joke like, what do you want to eat? Because I do have a lot of food restrictions. Even tonight, like, babe, you know I love you, right? Well, tonight we gonna eat these stuffed peppers with such and such, and it's gonna be all good. You know, so it's like even compromising from the little things all the way to, like you said, where are we moving to? It's no point of being in a relationship if you don't want to do this so-called thing life with somebody.
Right.
So before we go to the next question, so how are you preparing yourself for a healthy, successful relationship?
I would say it's, first of all, number one thing is you need to know what you want out of the relationship. You got to figure out, like, these are the things that I'm looking for. These are the things that I'm trying to avoid. This is the first thing you need to do before you go into anything. And you also have to make sure that whoever you're with, you're making sure that you are prepared to meet the needs of the person you're with. And if you can't do it, that's cool. You can move on to the next person. But it's also like what we talked about before. Being in a relationship, whether it's romantic or not, it's about compromise. So you need to be able to be flexible and meet certain compromises, because it's going to be very difficult to find that exact person who meets everything that you're looking for. So that's something you just got to keep in mind.
So I've been getting closer to God, more spiritually grounded. Just like I said before, went through like a traumatic experience. So the last 2 years, I've just been seeing what I want out of a relationship, what I value, what I desire for my partner to have, and what I'm willing to give. I think sometimes that we get so caught up in what we want somebody else to have that we don't know what we're willing to give them in return. So those are like the biggest two things that I'm preparing myself for.
So for me, I'll reiterate, I'm not looking. I'm still freshly new out of one. So at this time, I'm kind of just spending time with myself, watching my favorite shows, just kind of just chilling, honestly. So at this time, I'd say I'm just not looking.
I am spending very, very much time. I have a prayer that I have written out by my bed. I say the prayer every time. I try to say the prayer every time I go into my room. It is a very full-length prayer as to everything that I'm looking for in a man, and hoping that God will put into my life one day. But also growing closer to God. That's very helpful, I found. And honestly, just continuing to work on myself and getting to know myself, and continuing to remember my worth and know that I'm not going to accept anything that's beneath what I'm worth, because there's a price tag on me, and anybody that can't afford it, then you need to go to another store, because this ain't the shop for that. This is not the bargain center.
Thank you. We are Target, not Walmart, which is nothing wrong with Walmart. It's just, okay, it's like going to Chick-fil-A. You know how they say Chick-fil-A is so expensive, but you can go somewhere else to get the same sandwich, but you're paying for the service.
I'm Whole Foods. Like,
girl, do you know where I live?
What she said. What she said.
I said what I said, how I said it.
I mean, I vibe with Whole Foods. It's just not one close. So I'm out here hurt feelings. Um,
You can find good value at Walmart.
Let me tell you something. Their wine is always cheaper. Actually, that's Aldi.
Aldi.
Girl, Raven. Didn't we have this conversation? What was it, last night?
Last night, that
I got a
pineapple
whole bottle of Aldi Moscato in the refrigerator. It was $2 and some change.
I had just finished that bottle, and I told you it's 9%, and I was feeling it. It's pineapple, and they have a peach.
Feeling yourself too.
Yes.
Going to Audi tomorrow.
Yes. Audi is a hidden gem for sure.
Aldi, Lidl, both of those.
I haven't went to Lidl yet. But anyway, how are you preparing yourself?
I'm going to Lidl. That's how I'm preparing. How am I preparing myself? I have definitely been, to a degree, having conversations with self. I'm gonna say something that sounds like something Raven's going. She's gonna hit this one. I've been doing SWOT analysis and looking at what my strengths are, where my faults are, threats to and I think threats might be a bad word, but threats in the sense of what are my habits could be detrimental to a long-lasting relationship, or what are my habits that could be, for lack of better terms, toxic in a relationship, and then the opportunities that I would, what opportunities do I have to grow? So looking through those things, I think that's the best way that I've been preparing. That, drinking water, staying moisturized, trying to keep my beard healthy and clean. Can't get anybody to approach you with this looking rough.
That's true. Because I was about to say, like, going along with my self-worth, I'm putting into myself what I used to put into men, like money-wise, but other things too. But giving myself more. And I think that that's really important, because I used to not really care much about my looks and my appearance. But now that I see I need to actually invest in myself, and I like to do that. That makes me happy.
Craft with the SWOT analysis, though. I'm here for that. That's a business term. I was about that last semester.
Look, that's that good old marketing minor I had.
Exactly. I'm like, yeah, come through. See,
For me, go ahead. Okay. For me, I'm preparing myself, because I think Nakasha said it too. I don't want, because I know, I can't even say the word. I know what I'm looking for, and I know that I have to be a certain kind of woman to be able to attract a certain kind of man that I want. So I'm working on myself, like appearance wise, self-worth wise, emotionally, spiritually, physically, all of that, mentally. And I'm also getting myself together with God first, because if my relationship with God is not right, no relationship will be. So I'm just waiting, walking with God, seeing where he's going to take me first. And then my man will come. My Boaz going to come.
She got me when
Let's
she
talk
said
about
that
the Boaz.
I'm like,
Let's talk about Boaz.
Girl, we are about to have Bible study. Our hearts and minds clear. Come on. For me, I'm preparing myself. Really simple answer. Counseling to deal with the past. But after I meet with my counselor, I typically have an appointment with my life coach, because they help me learn how to move forward for the future. So counseling deals with the past, life coaching helps you move forward. And I think that, especially in the Black community, just being honest, that is so frowned upon. But for me, that it works wonders, because what I've found about myself already so far is that, even though Raven uses this all the time, I'm cut, but I am bleeding on other men, because I am making them pay for my my hurt and my pain that was caused from past relationships in general. And when I say relationships, I mean even family relationships, friendships, you know, romantic relationships. So yeah, just going to counseling to deal with the past, life coaching to figure out how to move forward. And that's pretty much it. So last question. What would be those petty, petty deal breakers for you? And I am so interested to hear what other people have to say because I know I'm petty Betty.
I don't know if I have any petty ones. Um, High maintenance is a big thing for me. I can't deal with like people I have to babysit, constantly call or text, things like that. What do you think I was gonna say?
No, but when you said high maintenance, I was like, what do you mean? But then you cleared it up right away.
Yeah. So things where like I have to be constantly on the phone with you, constantly texting with you, things like that, where like I have to constantly be taking care of you, things like that. I'm a big character guy. Like I can't stand it when people are like rude to waiters or people in service, or I find out that you're nice to these group of people, but you don't give the time of day to these group of people, and it's kind of like that doesn't sit right with me. Um, Another thing with me, I'll just end with this, is just like I going back to the thing where I don't want to take care of you, and the fact that like if we're going out, don't be like sloppy drunk, like to the point where like I have to take care of you, like I have to drag you home, make sure you're not running around or something like that, because I don't mind having a good time, but if it's to the point where I have to take care of you because you can't handle yourself, that doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah.
So my number one is height. Sorry, that might be a little shallow, but I'm sorry. God bless me with long legs.
It's okay, but I kind of already knew you were gonna say.
My friends always told me like, Rachel, that's so shallow. Like, and I'm just like, I'm sorry. And then my other one is like, if I introduce you to my friends and we're like in like kind of like an intimate setting and you don't talk to them or like at least try to have a conversation with them, I hate that. Like, because I'm bringing you into a new group and I'm trying to introduce you. And if you're not making the effort to at least get to know them, then you got to go.
What's the shortest man you would date?
Paul's shooting his shot right now.
No, I'm just curious.
My height.
No, what is the shortest man you would
My
date?
height, 6'2".
6'2".
That would be the shortest person. I like, okay, so I also like to wear heels too. So I'm like, I'm like 6'5" with heels on, maybe. And I don't think I'm gonna ever put the heels away, probably when I get old. But I don't see myself doing that anytime soon. But yeah, probably my height would be 6'2", and they would just have to be okay with me wearing heels.
So you need to be like dating people in the basketball gym.
So my ex was 7 feet tall. I'm just gonna say that. So you get a yeah. He plays basketball professionally. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just curious.
But I don't discriminate. I mean, if there's like a tall person that's in the business world now, that's fine. Like, you don't have to be an athlete. Usually athletes are the tall people though. I was an athlete. Yeah. All right.
So I don't really have too many. I agree with the being rude to waiters or anyone who's in service. I think that's completely a huge turn off to me, and I will get up and walk out probably, if not just leave pay for my part of the meal and leave. I can't stand that. I like punctuality. I don't like a man who is late unless there's a good reason, like tower messes up traffic. I get that. But punctuality is important to me. Hygiene. I don't want to date a smelly man. Period. Nice cologne is always a plus because a good smelling man. Dior Sauvage, Shawnta.
No, it's Dior Savage.
That's what I said.
Get it right.
I'm a savage. Classy, bougie,
Okay. We have 5 minutes, so I'm gonna let you finish.
No, I'm done. Those are mine. I really have a lot.
I don't really have a lot of petty ones. I feel like because I am so not even. I don't think I'm picky, but I need somebody with the basics, like a license, a car, someone that is equally yoked as me. Like, and I don't think that that's asking for too much, but apparently for some people, they think it is because they feel like you should date someone regardless, and they could be a work in progress and you need to be patient. I'm not at that point in my life anymore. I'm not willing to be there for you while you on the come up with those fundamental things. I'm beyond that. Therefore, I need somebody that is also beyond that. Also, nails are something that get me. I don't like stubs that are just down and bleeding and I can tell that you bite them. I can't do that. I cannot. Also, heavy breathing is a no for me. I can't do it. I can't. It annoys me, so I can't do it.
I love it. Okay, who's next?
Oh God. So I guess seriously, one thing I cannot stand is the absolute deal breaker. Being disrespectful. Not just to me, like everybody else said. If you're being disrespectful to people in service, I worked in food service and retail, so no, there's no point unless they're being rude to you, and even then, there's ways to fix that. I cannot stand to hear people talk down to other individuals. We're all adults. Don't talk to me or anybody else as a child unless they are a child. And even then, I have questions. My pettier things, I don't like when people, if you put the toilet paper back, make sure it goes over, not under. If not, you're a psychopath. If you stand too close to people in line, that is a deal breaker. I have a thing about space. If we're in line and you're standing right behind them, they move up and then you move up. Again, we can't date. Clearly there's a problem. If you eat McDonald's, I kind of feel like, I know that's terrible, but I don't really do fast food. So if you're at McDonald's, I'm just joking. It's not that bad. So like those
Rachel was like,
she looked hurt when I said that too. She looked hurt and attacked. Like,
oh my God, we gotta start this over again because we have one more.
Yes.